welcome again to the African Excillist podcast. I'm really happy to be privileged to have this guy, one of the lifestyle connoisseurs, top tier here in Seattle, Washington, state of Washington to be exact. This guy here is a fashion consultant, lifestyle. This guy tells you where to put the fork or the pocket square. I'm privileged to have the man in the flesh himself, a man about style, the King Richard Henry in the building. How you doing, brother?
First of all, what an intro. What an intro. But I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure.
I'm really happy that you're here, Mr. Henry. I want to ask you, how did your journey begin? Were you born and raised in Seattle?
I was not born and raised in Seattle. I was born in Kenya, Africa.
Yes.
Raised in North Dakota. I lived here in Washington in my high school years. Went out to D.C. and then I moved back in 2012.
And when you moved to Seattle, Washington, what was the biggest culture shock you ever had while you were here?
Oh, man. I mean, since I moved back from the East Coast, it was dress culture. So, I was coming in, three-piece suited up, and that is not the dress culture of the city.
Why did that bother you? Is that why you went to the Man About Style? Or this was more like, I always loved fashion, this was my dream growing up?
No, I mean, it definitely bothered me after I learned, what dressing well can do. But I also realized that just due to the industries that are here, if you're well put together, then it gives you more freedom to dress well.
Freedom in fashion.
Yeah.
Well, a man about style. You have totally changed how men, should I say men or everybody who likes fashion? Etiquette in general.
Some rules apply to, genderless. Like I have how to have a gender neutral closet video.
Oh,
that you can go see. So
yes.
no matter where you lie, I can give you a gem.
Let me ask you, so this journey, the fashion journey, was this your first dream growing up? Or did you have another dream?
Yeah, no. I went to school to be a funeral director.
Okay.
But I got out of that, fell into marketing. But I always was, a fashionable person, and people kind of knew me for that. And I happenstance ran into a person who was a YouTuber, full-time YouTuber at the time at LA Fitness. And he's like, hey, you should talk about lifestyle and fashion. And it grew from there.
It grew from there. And for a person who signed for Planet Fitness and not LA Fitness, at the beginning out, what are some of the things to look out for or to pay attention to when you're beginning your fashion journey as a lifestyle connoisseur?
Yeah, and I think it's really just using whatever you have. Like if you only have, X amount, clothes budget.
Yes.
It's okay to thrift. That's how you're gonna create things. If brands aren't reaching out to you, find a way to avenue or network your way in, even if your numbers aren't that great. Like, you just got to be resourceful.
Just work with the resources that you have.
Yeah.
And when you change your career, what is your biggest fear? Because I know it's not easy to drop your first love as a career and just decide, I'm going to go with my heart now.
Yeah.
What are some of your biggest fears when you dived into fashion? Because fashion is an aggressive landscape.
Oh, for sure. And I think it's just like anything else. You're always going to have just that self-doubt or, hey, like this isn't necessarily what I was told to do, or the pressure, family pressures.
Correct.
You just got to trust your instinct, but you also got to know, hey, am I willing to sacrifice one for another?
And when you made your sacrifices and went headfirst into fashion,
Yeah.
what was your first audition, right?
Yeah.
Your first audition, you've acted, you've done modeling shoots.
Yeah.
What was your fear when you went to your first audition? Any audition, fashion or movies or commercials?
Yeah, I mean, it is sometimes if it's like acting, it's like delivery. So you're making sure, all right, am I prepared? Have I learned, my lines, or am I coming ready to be, photographed? When I start to shoot, am I in the right mindset, a headshot? Those are all things you kind of got to consider.
And when you went to your first photo shoot, were you rejected? Did it go well?
Yeah. No. So when I'm signed now.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
But originally, like, I went to all the big modeling agencies in town, and they
Okay.
all said, you know what, no.
Were you tall, too tall, or too short?
Hey, I was too short. You know, that they wanted me to be 6'6".
And this is not it.
I was like, I'm not growing anymore. But just through hard work and creating an audience, they came back around and realized like, oh, this is a person of value who can add value to any brand that he works with.
I believe that you're an asset to every brand that you've worked with. You've collaborated with a lot of brands, and
Yeah.
and what are some of the brands that you've collaborated with for the audience that does not really know what you do?
Yeah. So I just did a Disaronno
Hey,
campaign.
that's
so
it. That's it.
Shout out to Disaronno.
Shout out to Disaronno.
Bentley
Okay.
is another one of my favorite collaborations.
Correct.
HGTV. You know, keeping it Seattle local. I've worked with, you know, Nordstrom. So just to name a few.
Just to name a few. When you collaborate with these brands, what is the importance of being open-minded when you're in this line of work? To work with other people, collaborative, with or without some direct form of payment, but you know how we are in the industry.
Of course.
Our real estate in terms of art is different. What's the importance of collaboration in the line of work you do?
Man, I mean, for me, I enjoy collaborating just because if to me it feels less narcissistic. Like it isn't about me. Like I'm
Less self-serving.
Yeah, the brand that I'm building is to serve. Like I'm trying to serve men, or even just whoever watches my content. I'm trying to make you think. I'm trying to make you develop as a person holistically. So collaborations allow me to find, I don't know all the answers, so I can bring in somebody like yourself who has a different perspective, and I can interject like, all right, you know, this is how you can add more
This part,
panache
add more flair to this.
not to your lifestyle through my experiences, and you can do the same.
Let's roll back from Seattle. Let's go back.
Okay.
So, were you born and raised in Seattle, or do you have roots? Because I believe we are connected somehow.
Hey,
and I'm really excited to share that part. And we've been friends since I moved to Seattle 3 years ago. I was following each other bit by bit, but I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Tell us where your journey began.
Hey, I mean, Nairobi, Kenya.
Hey, shout out to that. Shout out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely, you know, American.
American, yeah,
for
American
sure.
African, yeah.
Just due to, you know, background and circumstances.
Correct.
But I'm full-blown Kenyan.
Well, have you ever visited, because a lot of people when they leave Africa, they left. Like they left the continent to leave. So have you ever even just gone back there, touch base, just to refresh? You know, I spoke to Ali, and Ali told me he went to Africa.
Right.
And I told him, where is the obligatory tourist picture on top of a camel?
Yeah.
You gotta go back. So tell me, huh?
Yeah.